things are not going to happen only because you do them one time for a week, for a month. A few things will come with a lot of years of practice. Hi, my name is Ellie and I'm very happy to have you here. Thank you for watching this video. It took me a while to find the title for this series. I don't know if it's the right title, but at the end of the story, I want to offer my opinion based on my experience teaching yoga teacher training courses for 8 years now, from what I have learned from my students, what they have heard, what they have thought about some of the cues that we hear in yoga classes. At some point, I thought about naming this the nonsense of yoga. Probably I would call it like that. Maybe some people won't agree with this, but it is okay because I really need to speak up. Because I do believe there are a lot of cues out there that don't make much sense, or even worse, new yoga teachers start repeating those cues, start repeating those phrases because we have heard that so much that it kind of like these cues became a mantra. And because we have heard those cues so often from so many teachers, somehow we start believing they're true, or we don't question the meaning behind that, or we don't find the logical explanation. My background, I'm a psychologist. That's my background. That's what I study. I practice that for 10 years. So in psychology, we don't like to use the word normal, because at the end of the story, what is normal? What is normal for me, it may not be normal for you. But as society, we have learned that normal is what the group around us, the group that is familiar to us, the group that I live in, the people that I'm familiar with, that I connect with, my family, my friends, the society, the country, the environment that I live in, do and say very often. And that is what becomes normal to me. So these cues have become normal because this is what we hear all the time in yoga classes, especially asana classes. Anyway, so I really would like to speak up about a few things, and maybe it's not about criticizing, it's hopefully bringing a little bit of thinking, that next time we hear these things, we actually think through, we actually analyze, what does it mean to say this? So if you're a yoga practitioner, next time you can actually ask, like, what do you mean when you say that? What am I supposed to do when you say that? And as a yoga teacher, next time you want to use one of these cues, actually you have a foundation to say that. Anyway, so for today's video, I chose practice, and it will come. And I know that I may have a few comments about this because that phrase was said by a very world-known yoga teacher. And it does make sense at some extent when the key of success, of the key of improvement is consistency, not perfection. We have to be consistent, we have to be disciplined in order to become expert on something. In order to master something, we need to practice consistently, right? It's not, things are not going to happen only because you do them one time for a week, for a month. A few things will come with a lot of years of practice. So that is true. I do agree on that, that we need to practice to be consistent, to achieve, to improve. But also, if we are so strict on keep practicing and it will happen, also brings that idea that if it's not happening, if I have been doing this practice for years and it's not happening. And here I'm talking about asanas. When we achieve an asana, when we master an asana, and I've been practicing for years and that asana is not happening. So there might be something wrong with me. That is the first thing that comes to majority of yoga practitioners. I've been practicing for X amount of years and I'm still not able to do that asana. So what is wrong with me? Because I'm supposed to practice and it will come. I do believe that that phrase should be a little bit, we should extend that phrase. We should add a little bit more because yeah, practice, and it will come if, and I'm here talking physically, if when we retrain our nervous system, if our limitation is tensional, is coming from muscles and fascia and those tissues that are elastic, that will respond with time. But what if that limitation is coming from the structure of my body, from the length of my bones, from the orientation of those bones in my joints, from the shape of those bones in my joints? A few asanas may never come in the way you think they should come. Because we have a reference, we have an image of an asana, which is great because we need to have a point of reference, right? We need to know how a downward facing dog looks like. We have to have a reference, and usually that reference is a picture. But that picture is of a person, and that person has his own body, his own structure, his own story, age, parents, genetics, activities, injuries, you name it. That person has her own story, and I have mine. And I may never look like that person. So that is my point of reference. But now I have to come back to me and see what do I have and do the best with whatever I have to improve, to get the benefits of the pose, to evolve in the practice of that asana that not necessarily means getting a certain shape. A lot of the things that we get from asanas are not necessarily perceive with the eyes. It's not necessarily these things that we get from asanas, they're not necessarily reflected in the shape that we can do with our body. It could, but not everything. It is meant to be reflected in the body. How many of us have been practicing for years, and the physical manifestation of that asana, it may not happen, but how much we have learned in the way, how much we have evolved as a human being while practicing that asana, how much have we learned from ourselves, from our body, from our structure, from the way that we approach to that asana, how we deal with frustration. What is the speech that we have in our mind when we are practicing that asana? Are we kind? Are we practicing ahimsa, the first yama of the 8 limbs of the yoga philosophy, no non-violence? Am I being kind to myself, or am I being rude and violent, saying how bad I am, how what is wrong with me that I cannot get into that shape. So all that for me is the main benefit of practicing. Yes, we want to improve, we want to evolve, we want to master asanas, but what is the intention behind that? What do you want to get from that asana? You want to get just a shape, or do you want to get the benefits? That it doesn't matter if you have to use a strap for the rest of your life to do that asana, if you are actually getting the benefits, the physical benefits, the mental benefits, if you are uh, becoming a better you. Because at the end of the story, that's what yoga is. Yoga is a path, is a system that helps us to walk with a structure, with the structure that help us to live with ourselves, live with others, to have some principles to follow, to change our lifestyle, our habits, what we say, how we think, how we feel, how we react, how we act with others. That's what yoga is. Are you becoming a better you as a human being, as a person, when you are off the mat because you're practicing yoga? If the answer is yes, so keep practicing, because all those things are coming. You are becoming a better you. What happens to the asana? We don't know. We don't know if those things are going to change. We don't know if it's muscles, if it's bones. We don't know when, if those things are going to change. But we keep working and striving to get the main benefits from that asana, so I can be the better me when I am not on the mat. Honestly, at the end of the story, for me, that's what yoga is. And yes, practice, practice, and it will come. It may not come in the shape that you want or you think it should come. And some things may not come, and that is okay. You can be an amazing yoga practitioner, you can be an amazing yoga teacher, even if things don't come the way we have been conditioned that they should come. Anyway, I can keep talking about this for hours, but I hope I make my point. That this cue is great if given the right context, but it can hurt many people if we are so straightforward and, oh, that asana is gonna come, is gonna happen, you're gonna do it if you keep practicing. Or it's weird, are you a yoga teacher but you cannot do that pose? Maybe you're not practicing enough. I have heard all these things from yoga teachers, and it really breaks my heart because it's hurting people physically and emotionally. So I hope it doesn't happen to you, and I would love to create more videos like this. So if you have heard a cue, if you have heard a quote, if you have heard something in a yoga, in an asana class, in a yoga class, and it it have caught your attention because you don't understand what it means, because you may feel that it doesn't make any sense, because your teacher didn't know what it means, they just repeated, maybe you ask and they didn't know what to say, please comment below. I would love to read your comments. I would love to read those cues, and I will be happy to decode those cues based on what I believe, what I've seen, what I have learned. So anyway, I hope to have you again in one of these videos, and keep sending the questions, okay? Because I'm going to be reading them and answering them very soon. So see you here for the next video.